Texas Democrats are in shambles. It's November 8th, 2024, and these are your headlines. That's right. The Texas Democrat Party chairman, Gilberto Hinojosa, announced he's going to resign after a significant statewide electoral defeat in Tuesday's election for Democrats. Hinojosa, who's a South Texas lawyer who was first elected to the role in 2012, is overseeing a period marked by, Democrat losses, particularly among Hispanic voters and in border counties. Despite ongoing claims that Texas was on the verge of turning blue for over a decade, we've heard it, you've heard it, Democrats have failed to secure a statewide victory in 30 years. In Tuesday's election, President Donald Trump, of course, won Texas by more than 13 points, including victories in 12 of the state's 14 border counties. Senator Ted Cruz defeated his Democrat opponent by approximately 9 points, bigger than his margin in 2018. Well, in an interview with KUT News on Wednesday, Gilberto Hinojosa attributed the party's loss partially to its focus on radical gender ideology. Now, for example, during the party's convention in June, delegates were addressed by a female drag queen. Remember that? By the way, a female drag queen, that's a woman dressed as a man, dressed as a woman. Yeah. Well, Gilberto said in that interview, he said, I think what the Democrat Party has to realize is that there's some things that we can support and some things that we cannot. And when we're pressed upon to take votes of these kinds, we need to be mindful of the long-term consequences of these choices. Well, that was enough, right? The left was furious. And following backlash from Democrat supporters, he apologized. And then he said he was reaffirming his unequivocal and unwavering support for LGBTQ plus Texans. Now, for many Texas Democrats, Hinojosa's initial comments were the final straws, leading to intensified calls for his resignation throughout the week. And pointing to devastating defeats up and down the ballot in Texas and across the country, Gilberto announced this morning, that he would resign at the party leadership's upcoming meeting in March. A coalition of 16 states, led by, of course, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, have won a lawsuit against the Biden-Harris administration, halting a federal parole program aimed at allowing 1.3 million illegal aliens to remain in the United States. Man, can January 20th come soon enough, right? Known as Parole in Place, the Biden-Harris administration rule unveiled earlier this year gave an avenue for illegal aliens in the country for 10 or more years to receive a grant of parole if the alien is married to a U.S. citizen. Well, in August, Attorney General Paxton, represented by America First Legal, sued the Biden-Harris administration, claiming that the rule would change the residency status of certain illegal aliens and permit them to remain in the country indefinitely, which is what it was going to do. The lawsuit alleged that this circumvented congressional authority and violated federal law. Out of the 1.3 million illegal aliens paroled under the scheme, the Department of Homeland Security program would benefit 200,000 aliens residing in Texas. The judgment, made by U.S. District Judge J. Campbell Barker in the Eastern District of Texas, declared that DHS lacked statutory authority to grant parole in place to illegal aliens.
Hey folks, Chris Salcedo here. I've got something special for you, the Salcedo Storm podcast. As your friendly, liberty-loving Latino, I bring you a mix of engaging discussions to help us fight for our state and our conservative values. It's the perfect way to stay informed and engaged in what's happening around you. So, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the storm of information and entertainment coming your way. The Salcedo Storm podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Last up, konnichiwa, 9 Dallas City Council members and staff have flown to Japan to tour high-speed rail systems with the hope of bringing something similar to the city. This was a report from WFAA up in Dallas, and they said that the itinerary for the council members and staff stay in Japan shows luxury hotels, meetings with U.S. Embassy officials and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, tours of Japan's rail facilities, a dinner and presentation with rail officials, and a ride, of course, on a bullet train from Tokyo to Nagoya. One estimate puts the cost of the trip close to $50,000, all of which will be funded by revenue from the city's hotel occupancy tax. An economic development study has been approved by the Dallas City Council at a cost of $566,000 to look into the possibility of building a high-speed rail connection between Dallas and Houston. How long have we been hearing about that, right? Well, several Dallas City Council members have said that they want to wait until that report is finished before moving forward with any plans for the railway. The study will take approximately 1 year to complete. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.